Hey everyone, Tom Ollie here from ForexReviews.info. Hope you're all doing well and that you had a great trading week last week. Okay, well, welcome to this week's edition of the review. This edition, I'll be covering a number of important zones once again and important technical points, and I'll also take a look at a number of important management point areas and target areas as well on a number of different markets. Now, before we get into this week's review, I thought I'd take a quick moment just to mention how much I appreciate you all, and I appreciate the support. I appreciate all those people that are liking these videos on a regular basis and all the comments I receive. If we can, let's see if we can get over 500 likes on this video today. Like I said, I really do appreciate it, and it's a really great way of letting other people know about these videos. And it just takes a couple of seconds. Anyway, let's get into this week's review and see what's happening in the charts. Okay, the first pair I'd like to highlight is EURUSD, and I'm on the 4-hour chart. Now, first thing I'd like to highlight about EURUSD is this market recently tested the 119 zone area, which was a potential bearish evidence area on this market to the upside. And it did give a nice bearish move to the downside from this important zone. What I'd like to highlight on this market this week is a potential long-term target area to the downside for all those people who are holding a sell position on this market. And that is the 115.50 zone area. This is a great target area to the downside for all those people holding sell trades on this market. And it's also an area to the downside where I'm just looking for bullish evidence. And if I see that right to bullish evidence in this area, then potentially be looking for a move all the way up to this previous low and high area, or this high area and low area as another management point area to the upside, or potentially looking for a move all the way up to the 119 zone to the upside. So overall on EURUSD this week, holding a potential target area to the downside for all those people who are holding a sell position on this market, which is the 115.50 zone area, a long-term target area. Of course, being aware of these previous lows, looking left as a potential management point area to the downside, and also holding that the 115.50 zone area is a potential area where we're just looking for bullish evidence and a potential move to the upside from this important area as well. Okay, well that's that market. Okay, the next pair I'd like to highlight is GBPUSD, and I'm on the 4-hour chart. Now, recently in price action, GBPUSD has been pulling back, and like I mentioned in last review, what I'd like to highlight is a potential pullback area, and that is the 129.60 zone area. This is a great area that if the market tests this area this week, which I'm expecting it will, potentially early in the week, that this is an area where I'm just looking for bullish evidence. And if I see that right to bullish evidence in this area, like I go in the training, then potentially looking for a move all the way up to these previous highs, looking left as a potential management point area to the upside, or all the way up to this high as another management point area or target area to the upside, or potentially looking for a move all the way up to the 133.60 zone to the upside. So overall on GBPUSD this week, highlighting the 129.60 zone area as an area on this market where I'm just looking for bullish evidence and a potential move to the upside from this important area. Okay, well that's for that market. Okay, the next pair I'd like to highlight is AUDUSD, and I'm on the daily chart. Now, first thing I'd like to highlight about AUDUSD, like I highlighted in last week's review, is that this market is in an uptrend. So in preference as traders, we want to be looking for that optimum pullback area to the downside, where potentially we'll be looking for bullish evidence and a potential continuation in that market trend while the market is in that trend. And the area I'd like to highlight is the 78.23 zone area. This is a great pullback area to the downside, that if the market pulls back and tests this area this week, they'd potentially be interested in looking for bullish evidence in this area. And if I see that right to bullish evidence in this area, then potentially be looking for a move all the way up to this previous low area, looking left, or potentially looking for a move all the way up to the 80.50 zone to the upside. And potentially the market may continue even higher in this trend as it's in an uptrend. Okay, well that's for AUDUSD. Overall on the 78.23 zone area as an area to the downside where I'm just looking for bullish evidence and a potential move to the upside from this important area and a potential continuation in this market's current trend. Okay, well that's that market. Okay, the next pair I'd like to highlight is New Zealand USD, and I'm on the daily chart. Now, very similar to AUDUSD, what I'd like to highlight is a potential pullback area. This market is also in an uptrend, and the area I'd like to highlight is the 73.75 zone area. This is a great area in this trend that if the market tests this area this week, then I'm just looking for bullish evidence in this area And if I see that right to bullish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way up to the 75.50 zone to the upside, which is that previous high looking left. Now, of course, the market may continue even higher in the trend, so just be aware of that. This market is in an uptrend. However, that's a great target area to the upside from this important zone. Now, the 73.75 zone area, if we look left and I zoom out, is an area that acted as resistance back here, and back here in the past. So overall, a great area on this market. If the market tests this area, to look for bullish evidence and a potential move to the upside from this important zone. And potentially the market may test this area early in the week. So overall, a great area to set alarms and see how the evidence presents itself at this important zone. And a great area to look for a potential bullish opportunity on this market. Okay, well that's that market. Okay, the next pair I'd like to highlight is US CAD, and I'm on the 4-hour chart. Now, last week in the review, I highlighted the 124.90 area as a potential bullish evidence area on the retest of this important zone. I did mention that it was a counter-trend zone. However, the bulls were showing an indication that they were taking a little bit of control on that recent high that they produced before the retest of this important area. And as you can see on that retest, the bulls did take control and gave a nice move to the upside. And potentially this market may continue for all those people who are holding a buy trade on this market, such as myself, potentially all the way up to the 127.64 zone to the upside. Now, the 127.64 zone is not only a potential target area to the upside for all those people who are holding a buy trade on this market, but it's also an area to the upside where I'm just looking for bearish evidence in this area. And if I see that right to bearish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way down to this previous high area looking left as a potential management point area to the downside, or potentially looking for a move all the way down to the 124.90 zone to the downside. So overall in US CAD this week, holding a potential target area to the upside for all those people who are holding a buy trade on this market, such as myself, which is the 127.64 zone area. And also holding the 127.64 zone area is a great area on this market to look for bearish evidence and a potential move to the downside from this important area. And the 127.64 zone area is a great area in this market's trend to look for a potential continuation to the downside as well. Okay, well that's that market. Okay, the next pair I'd like to highlight is 80 Jappy, and I'm on the daily chart. Now, on this market today, what I'd like to highlight is the 87 zone as a potential pullback area. Now, this is the same zone that I hold in the last review on this market as a great area in the trend to look for bullish evidence and a potential move to the upside from this important area. And if we look left at the 87 zone, you can see it's an area that acted as resistance back here and resistance back here multiple times in the past. And is a great area that if the market tests this area this week, that this is an area on this market where I'm just looking for bullish evidence. And if I see that right to bullish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way up to these previous highs as a potential management point area to the upside, or potentially looking for a move all the way up to the 90.30 zone to the upside. So overall in 80 Jappy, holding the 87 zone area as an area to the downside, where I'm just looking for bullish evidence and a potential move to the upside on this market and a potential continuation in this market's trend. Okay, the next market I'd like to highlight this week in the review is gold, and I'm on the daily chart. Now, on this market today, what I'd like to highlight is a potential pullback area, which is the 1250 zone area. Now, the reason I'm highlighting this zone once again, I did highlight this area last week in the review, is that the market is just starting to pull back, and it's getting close to pulling back to this area. So if the market pulls back that a little bit further, it will be able to test the 1250 zone this week. So I thought I'd take a quick moment just to mention this area once again. This is a great area on this market that if the market tests this area, then we're just looking for bullish evidence in this area. And if I see that right to bullish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way up to this pullback high area as a potential management point area to the upside, or potentially looking for a move all the way up to the 1293 zone to the upside. Okay, well that's for gold. Overall, the 1250 zone area as a great area to the downside when we're just looking for bullish evidence And of course, depending on that evidence and how it presents itself at this important zone, this is a great area to look for a bullish opportunity on this market, and potentially looking for a move all the way up to that previous high area, or potentially all the way up to the 1293 zone. Okay, the next pair I'd like to highlight is Euro GBP, and I'm on the daily chart. Now on this market today, what I'd like to highlight is a potential long-term target area to the upside for all those people who are holding a buy position on this market, which is the 91.24 zone area. This is a great area to take full profits for anyone that's holding a buy position on this market. And it's also an area to the upside where I'm just looking for bearish evidence. And if I see that right side bearish evidence in this area, like going in the training, then potentially looking for a move all the way down to this previous low, looking left as a potential management point area to the downside, and this high, or potentially all the way down to these previous highs, looking left as another management point area to the downside, or potentially looking for a move all the way down to the 87.60 zone to the downside. So overall in this market, holding the 91.24 zone area as a great target area to the upside for all those people who are holding a buy position on this market. And also this is an area on this market where I'm just looking for bearish evidence and a potential move to the downside from this important area. Okay, well that's it for me for this review this week. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate you all, and I appreciate the support and the likes and the shares and the comments I receive on a regular basis. And if you did happen to appreciate this video today, please don't forget to click that like button to show your support. And if you have any comments on this week's edition of the review, feel free to comment below. And also consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed yet. And if you haven't checked out the Forex training, such as the Engulfing Trader, the 5-day training series, or the Counseling training series just yet, where you can find out all about this Forex training by clicking on the links below this video. Okay, well, I'll see you in the next video, and happy trading.